All right, guys, welcome to Press X Podcast, episode 99. I actually have to adjust the camera here a little bit. I forgot to do that before the stream. I think that's good. Try to get me more centered just a little bit. But yeah, welcome to episode 99. That's crazy. Episode 99 of Press X Podcast. Next week, we have episode 100. And yeah, it's been quite the journey. Quite the journey. So thank you guys so much for waiting patiently, as always, for the podcast to start. Saying the hero board changed. Yeah. So I got some I changed up excuse me, I changed up the background a little bit today. We got some Bloodborne, some Twisted Metal, Infamous, SOCOM, Resistance, Sly Cooper. I thought that it was appropriate. It was appropriate to have these characters this month. Because, there's been a bunch of rumors that these games are coming back. Obviously, we're not getting all of them. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I should have used Cole, not Delson. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right about that. Delson is pretty cool. Well, I don't know if cool's the right word, but he was a decent character. I think I enjoyed Delson. Am I doing anything for episode 100? As of right now, I don't have any plans. I'm just gonna keep it rolling as usual. Obviously, I'll GT7 is missing though. Yeah, obviously I'll let you guys know. If I do anything, but as of right now, I'm probably not going to. Been pretty busy lately. How's the gym going? Gym's been going pretty good. I've been staying pretty consistent, which is good. It's really all you can ask for. But yeah, we have some stuff to talk about today, man. It seems like the gaming industry is quieting down just a little bit. I don't know if it's going to stay this way over the next week or 2 weeks, or if maybe the past couple days it's just going to stay. These are the only days really where it's going to be quiet. It's understandable why PlayStation was quiet. There's been a ton of rumors regarding PlayStation that I want to talk about with you guys today because, PlayStation's been kind of quieting down a little bit, and the first week of March it was always going to be quiet for Sony because they're releasing Gran Turismo 7, and GT7 it's a flagship title for Sony, and they are not going to get in the way of that game by saying anything else. I'm saying this because I'm sure you guys have noticed that the rumors have been persistent. About what Sony is going to do this month, and there's something I want to say because a lot of people have been asking me, and I've seen a lot of you guys in the chat asking me, do I actually think there's going to be a showcase this month? We talked about in a video yesterday how there's going to be a state of play. It's weird because if we do get a state of play next week, which it seems like there's a pretty decent chance we will, and I'm hearing that that's where we're going to see Hogwarts Legacy. If we do get a state of play next week, then it almost seems guaranteed at that point that, well, the showcase, or what we thought was going to be the event or the showcase, isn't going to happen. And so there is something that I will talk about that I don't know if it's real or not. There's no way to know, but I guess what I'm trying to say is it possible we could see Sony do both a state of play and a showcase in the same month? For as weird as that may sound, that might be actually what's happening. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I have the Caped Crusader. Thoughts on Stevivor being blackballed from reviewing Sony games. LMAO. Oh, dude, bro, come on, man. Did they not see that shit coming? I'm glad you mentioned it, the Caped Crusader. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm going to make it clear right off the bat. I don't care about Stevivor whatsoever. The only reason I know about Stevivor is because apparently their review scores count towards the overall aggregate score on Metacritic. But the reason I know about them is not because of that. The reason I know about them is because they are infamous for shitting all over PlayStation exclusives while praising Xbox exclusives. And it's just like, there's no consistency whatsoever. A good example of this, for anybody, I haven't seen many people, but for anybody who's like defending Stevivor, like Stevivor, that's not right. Sony shouldn't blacklist them just because they're not giving their games good review scores. Bro, Stevivor gave Bleeding Edge an 80, an 8 out of 10. Bleeding Edge. And they gave Bloodborne a 75. Are you fucking kidding me? They should have been blacklisted a long ass time ago, bro. Took long enough. Sony was done. Sony was like, you know what? F these guys. We're done. And I don't blame them. I have a list up right here. I'm going to read it to you, okay? Stevivor review scores versus Metacritic average. So we'll start with the PlayStation games, and then we'll go to the Xbox games. Horizon Forbidden West, they gave it a 65 out of 100. Average. I'm not even going to bother reading the Metacritic scores. They gave Horizon Forbidden West a 65, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves a 65, Demon's Souls Remake a 75, Bloodborne 75, Ghost of Tsushima a 70, Last of Us Part 2 an 80, Death Stranding a 35. Holy hell, what's wrong with them? Days Gone a 60, God of War an 80. They give God of War an 8. And then here's the Xbox games. You ready? Halo Infinite 95, Forza Horizon 5 100, Age of Empires 4 81, Psychonauts 2 90, Flight Simulator 95, Gears Tactics 85, Bleeding Edge 80. I still can't believe that. Ori and the Will of the Wisps 90, Gears 5 90, State of Decay 2 80. Is it any fucking wonder why they got blacklisted? Again, they should have been blacklisted a long ass time ago. They really should have, because when you look at that's not a matter of, well, it's just their opinion. There's clearly something going on there, people. And to be fair, I want to make this clear. A lot of people say that review scores from outlets that are specifically PlayStation or specifically Xbox that automatically give these games like 100 or a 10 out of 10, and they are obviously biased. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the bias, but it's just they are outwardly biased. I agree that those review scores should be removed as well, because it's like, this is why I don't really review games on my channel that often, because it's like, yo, man, what did you think about, I don't know, Horizon? Like, what are the chances that I'm going to say, I didn't like it very much? I mean, there is a possibility, but I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if you're outwardly a fan or obviously a fan of something, then your review score shouldn't count for something like Metacritic. It just shouldn't, Like, the only review scores that should count for something like Metacritic, in my opinion, have to be completely neutral. And when you see shit like that where it's just totally skewed, like, these people, they have like a mandate where it's like, give Xbox games higher scores no matter what. Bleeding Edge better than Bloodborne? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Michael Lynch, you're saying cute baby reveal for episode 100. LOL JK. Nah, probably not, man. Probably not. He is cute though. He's getting big. He's getting big, man. But yeah, very cute. But unfortunately for you, that's not what's going to be happening at 100. Black Manta 1989 member for 16 months, plays no limits. Thank you. You're saying 30 hours into Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm only at 14% with progress. This game is going to take a while to finish, MBG, LOL. Yeah, dude, I have to look at my progression. I'm about like 28 hours, I think 30 hours into it. So, MBG, you're the biggest overhyped fanboy who ever lived. You defend anything PlayStation releases. Wrong, Raymond Luke. Get the fuck out of here. You don't watch my content. You don't follow me. If you did, you would know that what you're saying is 100% untrue. I mean, you want to say that I get overhyped. I'm guilty of that. I do overhype things occasionally. I get a little bit, in over my head, but I see these offhanded comments from people all over the place, and you could just tell, like, they don't watch the content, bro. They don't watch my podcast. They don't watch the videos. They don't listen to what I'm actually saying. They just make assumptions, and then they say some shit like that based off assumptions. So get out. We don't want that here. I'm just kidding. You can watch if you want. I appreciate it. But yeah, Black Manta, dude, it's going to take a while, bro. It's going to take a while. I got to see where my progress is. We had PlayStation Pete. You're saying, MBG, I bought Horizon Forbidden. There's a bug. Even after patch 1.06 could go no further, and GameStop manager would not refund. What can I do? Honestly, I'm not sure, man. You might want to submit your complaint directly. I think if you go to Guerrilla Games, go to their Twitter account. They actually provided a link where you can send them your issue if you're having like a serious issue, and they will try to fix it for you, because apparently there are like some weird things where it's like, very isolated incidents for some people where there's just weird things happening. Luckily for me, I still haven't experienced anything major with Horizon, which is good. But my recommendation, man, is go on Guerrilla Games' official Twitter, check out that post that they put out asking you to submit your issues, and they even encourage you to like send pictures and stuff. Maybe they can help you out there, man. iSiler18, you're saying, wow, they did Death Stranding and Days Gone Dirty. Dude, they did Death Stranding terrible, bro. Like 35? I don't care who you are or what you consider a good game. You can't play Death Stranding and tell me that's a 35, like a 3.5 out of 10. You're out of your mind. You're out of your damn mind. All right. You can tell me that you don't like the gameplay. You can tell me it seems a little bit boring, but you're not gonna tell me that game's a 3.5 out of 10 and expect me to take you seriously. Pennon, you're saying Sony finalized a deal Friday, big reveal this week. What makes you say that? I haven't heard anything about that. I'm actually sitting here kind of wondering, when are we going to hear about the next acquisition? Because I remember just after Sony revealed that they acquired Bungie, we had Jeff Keighley and other people kind of coming out here and being like, yo, there's some deals that are getting finalized. It's going to be an interesting year. And we haven't heard anything. And that was back in January, I believe, right? Was it January? I think it was January. We haven't really heard anything. So I don't know where you're getting that info from. I would say it's hard to, there's a lot of info floating around. So you're saying fake news, don't believe that. I mean, I feel like look, if you want to tell me Sony finalized the deal, I can believe that. If you want to tell me it's going to happen next week, I don't know about that, Pennon, I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm not going to use you as a source, but the Caped Crusader is saying 83 hours in Horizon Forbidden West and only 50.3% complete. What? Dude, that's insane. That is 83 hours, bro. Josh, you're saying nearly 2.5 years and still only Halo and Forza. Bro, I didn't want to do this today, but I have to do it. And look, I understand it's not really what you say, it's how you say it, and I think I have something to say about Halo. And, a lot of people a lot of Halo fans are like, MBG, shut the fuck up, man. You don't play Halo. Stop talking about Halo. Look, I'm not here to shit on Halo. I'm not here to shit on Halo. I do not care. But I do need to point something out regarding Halo. That's like, bro, did we not talk about this? And it's actually happening. I see somebody saying, then don't move on. I mean, I'm not going to spend too long on it, but I definitely have something to say, only because I'm going to be honest, I do think it's genuinely interesting. And the reason why I think it's interesting is because I am just kind of baffled as to, I guess it's understandable that Microsoft would screw up Halo like as a live service, but I just feel like when I think of Microsoft pursuing a Halo live service, it feels like that's an easy, like, you're going to knock it out of the park, bro. I'm saying bro a lot. But I feel like that's an easy win, is what I'm trying to say. And it's going really not good for them. I can't speak, like, again, Halo players seem very happy with the gameplay, which is great. And that's what matters. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who still play Halo every day and they're loving it, you know? But it just seems like what they're doing with the live service aspect, and specifically, we just found out that, and I'm telling you, this was surprising to me, man. Remember when we talked about how with Halo Infinite, the game launched, kind of unfinished. It didn't have co-op, which people, Halo fans were upset about that. They're like, bro, I got to stop saying bro. They're like, Microsoft, come on. Co-op is such a big part of Halo. That should be there at launch. So fans were understandably upset about that. And they say it's delayed. Forge mode is delayed. We found out it got delayed again. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. That's not, like, it shouldn't be delayed again. And now it's being delayed for a second time. And it's like, at what point? And I have to say, I'm not calling Xbox fans out here. I'm not. Because the truth is, I'm seeing Xbox fans get pissed off, as they should. And that's good. You should hold Microsoft's feet to the fire with this one, because it's like, what do you expect people to do? Wait half a year or longer for content that should have been there at launch? Now we just found out that Halo Infinite's lead multiplayer developer, I don't know who it is. I have to look at the article, but apparently they're leaving 343. And I'm just like, that's not good, man. That's not good. And I see a lot of people saying, like, yo, what we're seeing here with Halo and them delaying this content, that's the Game Pass effect. And I'm going to tell you this right now, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think people would have been nearly as forgiving on Halo Infinite, not having co-op at launch and not having Forge. Two things that were, maybe Forge I think could be understandable, but co-op at the very least, like, that would have to be there if it wasn't for Game Pass. Like, if the only way you could play this game is by paying full price for it, people would have not accepted. At least I don't think they would have accepted it so easily, And I think that, I don't know, a lot of people were saying Halo Infinite should have been delayed again. And it's like, yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so. But it is what it is. Like, I don't play Halo. I'm not a Halo fan. And I know that people are like, then why the hell are you talking about it? I just think it's interesting. That's all. I'm just making an observation here where I'm like, dude, if this was a PlayStation game, I would be like, and I guess that's why I'm kind of paying attention to it, because Sony is going to be doing live service games of their own. And I'm like, okay, Last of Us live service, whatever, Twisted Metal, maybe SOCOM. Don't do it like that, Sony. Please don't do it like that, because I don't want to support a game where, it's not going to be, the content's just going to keep getting delayed, and it's whatever, man. It's whatever. But Josh, you're saying nearly 2.5 years and still only Halo and Forza. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, people called me a fanboy. I mean, they call me a fanboy no matter what, but they really got on my case. They really got on my case when I was out here talking about the Activision acquisition. And I was like, guys, like, it's exciting in the moment, but it doesn't really mean anything now. And it's not going to mean anything for quite some time. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's all artificial hype. And I know that people are like, well, there's artificial hype on PlayStation side too. Yes, there is. I'm not going to deny that. There is artificial hype on PlayStation side as well, but not like this, man. Like, I wanted to title this podcast because, we just got multiple games in February. We're just coming off of GT7. And when I say PlayStation is absolutely crushing it, that's why I'm saying it. I know somebody says Sifu is a timed exclusive. Yeah, but still, it's content that right now, if you're a console player, you can only play on PlayStation. And for me, a game that I really look forward to, that's what matters. I'm just trying to say, man, that it's like, it's all this hype rolled up, like wrapped up, all this hype and flexing. And for what? And for what? And I can't help but laugh because I'm over here. I'm like, bro, I'm playing Sifu. I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West. And I can play GT7 at any moment. I got Ghostwire Tokyo later this month if I want to play that. And if Forspoken doesn't get delayed, that's coming. And I'm just like, dude, PlayStation genuinely is crushing it. And I've always tried to make this argument to people, man, that like people say, well, why are you such a fan of PlayStation? How come you're so biased? How come how come you pump up everything Sony does? Dude, this is why. This is why, man, because they are consistently delivering quality content, both small, medium, and large. That's all, that's what it comes down to. Somebody's saying Tunic. Okay, well, there's Tunic. I'm not going to make it sound like it's meaningless. It's not. I'm sure there are going to be people who enjoy that, but I'm pretty sure. Isn't Tunic the one with that fox? So I don't know, man. KD, you're saying, what's up, MBG? I hope everything is great with you and the fam. You know it's all love, but I know you got some smoke for GT7 microtransactions. Just remember, ER is just Demon Souls PS3 gameplay, but open world. Completely overrated. Like, bro, you trying to trigger me right now? You trying to trigger me? To be fair, I'm going to be honest, man. Elden Ring, its gameplay, yeah, if you play Demon Souls Remake and then you play Elden Ring, it feels almost the same. But that's fine. That's how, in my opinion, that's how it should be, bro. I'm going to... You're saying, did you see dealer post your microtransaction take? Yeah, dude, people were crushing me over that. And I get it, man. I get it. I'll talk about that in a minute. I deserve to be crushed in that case. And I will take the L on that one because it's not about whether or not Sony properly implemented the microtransactions. I was trying to talk about it in that way, but people are throwing older tweets in my face where I was literally shitting. I mean, come on, I was shitting all over Gears, and I know that I think I was hard on Forza Motorsport 7 as well, and I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? Maybe I got to take a step back here and remember that, yo, dude, you can't be giving Sony such a pass right now because it's looking mighty hypocritical. So we'll talk about that. I do have some smoke for GT7 microtransactions, but it's actually more towards myself than anything. As ironic as that sounds, like I know GT players are getting upset because they're like, MBG, you don't understand. It's really not that serious, guys. I'm not. We'll talk about it. Hopefully I'll make it clear in a little bit. But thank you for that, man. Let me see. Matthew Francis, member 3 months. Thank you, bud. You're saying, I'm worried the Elden Ring network test gave away too much of the game. Is the most wrong thing I've said this century. It's unbelievably huge. Dude, I literally at times have to stop playing Elden Ring because I get overwhelmed by it. Like, I'm spending so much time exploring and roaming around, and I'm just like, you know what? There's a little bit too much going on here right now. I can't keep up with it. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm just going to put it down and I'll come back to it. That's not a bad thing. It's just like, yeah, dude, it's insane how much content is there day one. A lot of developers can take note, I think, should take note. You're saying GT7 has a 6.5 user rating? I didn't see that. I've been getting a lot of feedback from GT players. I have been, and it's been mostly positive. In fact, I've seen very few negative posts about GT7, to be frank. In fact, I would actually go as far to say most of the negativity I'm seeing are from people who I don't think are playing the game or plan to play the game. What's that drink? It's orange mango body armor. You can't. It's hard to go by user ratings anymore. You can't trust user ratings. Review bombing is too prevalent. Brett Williams, you're saying Halo 5 already had more updates this far in. Yeah, dude, I don't know what's going on at 343, but it can't be good. It can't be good. I think that Halo Infinite went from being like this is going to be the big comeback that Halo needs to it was almost a disaster. They seemingly pulled it together enough to be like, okay, this is pretty good. But now they're dropping the ball once again because now they can't keep up with content in the way that people were expecting for what is a live service game. Nakamichi, member 2 months, Players No Limits Plus. You're saying, hey, MBG, I have an idea for your podcast. You should set up a co-host system with your channel members. Every episode have a new co-host with having their own thoughts on the topic and to keep you from ranting for too long. I've gotten many suggestions in the past about what I should do with like channel members or co-hosts or bringing more people on and guests. And, it's been this way for quite some time, and I'm not going to sit here and make promises or say things that I know I'm not going to do. But I appreciate the suggestion. As of right now, I don't know. Maybe I'm just selfish and I just like to talk too much, but I like just sitting here and talking to you guys like nonstop for like 2 or 3 hours straight sometimes. So I don't know what that says about me. Maybe it's not such a good thing, but if anything, if I do change anything in the future, I'll obviously let you guys know, and we'll see. We'll see. I never say no to anything definitively. Nothing's off the table, Rashdom V2, you're saying, hot take, Destiny 2 is the true Halo sequel. I think a lot of people actually do share that sentiment. I mean, that's just an assumption. I don't know for sure, but I mean, I think it's safe to say that Destiny is a more successful game these days. Obviously, I think it's obvious than Halo. So yeah, I think that's a valid argument. I don't think that's a hot take. JDTV, you're saying you should check GT7 user reviews on Metacritic. I'll go check real quick. Let's see, Gran Turismo 7 Metacritic. Let's see, 6.5 user ratings, 590 ratings, 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0, 0, 10, 1, 10, 10, 0. Yeah, I think that's all I need to see, man. That's all I need to see, bro. I should read some of them, should I? You know what? You're right. Maybe I should. I got to read some of these zeros. I got to know why they're giving it a 0. Because who knows? So there might be a valid 0 somewhere here, okay? Random Hero 215. Imagine being asked to pay $70 for a game where an internet connection is constantly required, even if you're offline single-player modes. Add extremely greedy microtransactions to the mix, with cars going to cost $40 real dollars, okay? Dude, honestly, I see some people leaving zeros because the game isn't available in Russia. Always online single player mode. Don't bother buying this game. $70 with microtransactions. This game is complete garbage. I don't know what to say, man. Like, did Pete was this not known? I'm saying, didn't we know a while ago that GT7 was going to have an always online connection? I guess maybe some people didn't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of that, but at the same, I'm not going to sit here and front either, guys. I'm not going to pretend that to be upset that I have to be connected to the internet. I'm always connected to the internet. And I understand and I feel for people who say that I'm not always connected to the internet. That is a problem for me. I get that. But I can't act outraged because it's never been a problem for me. That's all I'm saying. Anytime I play my games, whether it's like I'm always connected to the internet when I'm playing Horizon. I know that's different from there being a requirement, and I understand the difference there. And that's what I'm saying. I feel for people, and I'm not justifying it. I mean, look, they're saying it's to prevent cheating. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I mean, I can see both sides of it. If that's what they want to do to prevent cheating, yeah, screw cheaters, man. Screw them, But at the same time, like, I don't know. Apparently, more people were expecting it to be offline, so. You're saying the excuse was dumb. They could always up the firmware version. That's true. See, this is where I get frustrated, man, because you're saying I'm defending anti-consumer practices. I'm not defending it. Like, you guys have to be able to differentiate. There's a difference between defending something and being indifferent to it. There is a difference. I'm just saying I am mostly indifferent to it because, first of all, I'm not playing GT7 right now. And I just, again... There have been games that I played that have required to be always online, and I just never really cared. I'm not saying it is an anti-consumer. Again, it sucks for those who have a problem with it, but It's never been a problem for me, and I just, that's all. So I'm mostly indifferent to it. But I'm trying to feel for those, for those who don't. Was GT Sport always online? All right, let me see. Chris B, member for 19 months. Thank you, buddy. You're saying PS gamers get hype and games. We eating good out here. Yeah, I mean, dude, I put a Twitter post out yesterday. I put a Twitter. See, that's what makes it so hard. It's really hard to determine what is fake outrage and what isn't. Because I put a Twitter post out yesterday, and I got hundreds of responses where I just asked people who were playing GT7 to let me know what they think of it. And I'm assuming that because I am a PlayStation creator, most of the people following me, both on YouTube and on Twitter, are PlayStation fans. Thus, a good portion of them are Gran Turismo fans. I was reading through tons of responses, man, and pretty much everybody was saying like this game is awesome, and that's why this is just where it's hard for me to take people seriously when they're like game's garbage, microtransaction filled $70. Like I all I can feel at that point is you're definitely not going to play this game, right? Like you never had an intention to play this game, but now you just have a reason to apparently justify it other than not liking it. To me, that's how it comes off. And that's not just for PlayStation. That's for all games as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see. Jacob, you're saying love Forza Horizon very much and are going to love Forza Motorsport. But wow, I expected GT to be good, but not that insanely good, in my opinion. You should really try it when you have time. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for me to get into, only because I've never played a driving simulator. The racing genre automatically is not really my forte. I did get into Forza Horizon, and it took me a while to get into that. And I guess the apprehension with GT is just knowing that it's from what I've heard, it's much more sophisticated. So, but I'll consider it at some point. We'll see. I'm hearing good things about it. Space Gambler Jr., member for 14 months. Thank you, buddy. You're saying, what's up, MBG? A ton of new games. Not a lot of time. Don't forget to spend time with the family. Yeah, dude. Well, that's the thing. I will let you guys know that this podcast will certainly not be a 3-hour long podcast. It's probably going to be about 2.5 hours because I do have some plans that does, is involving spending more time with the family. So, but I thought that I would just let you guys know because lately we've been going for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, sometimes longer. So I'm going to try to get all the juicy stuff in now while I can. Josh, you're saying I got GT7 via Game Share. I don't play these types of games, but man, am I enjoying it. Hard, but the tutorials are fun and help. Play it sometime. I mean, see, this is the type of feedback I'm hearing from people. A lot of people are saying, like, bro, you should play it. It's a great game. And I don't doubt it. I mean, I think people do forget that. Look, regardless of what the user scores are saying, I mean, it is sitting at an 88 on Metacritic, which is still pretty good. Not that, again, Metacritic's not the be-all, end-all, but it's a good sign. And I had no doubt. I had no doubt in my mind that it was going to review well. Alexander Harris, you're saying you are the one YouTube person that looks how he sounds. Well, thanks, I guess. I've heard the opposite quite a few times, though. Quite a few times. Rari2X, you're saying they made this game online only because in the previous games, people hacked their offline profile and carried them over to online, making it unfair. Yeah, see, that's why I can't really be upset, because if that's truly the reasoning why is to just prevent people from being shitheads, then it's like, well, yeah, I mean, come on. I'd as somebody who, again, I'm connected all the time, I would prefer that over dealing with people doing shady stuff like that and making it unfair. Henry 3K, you're saying, how are you, MBG? I'm on that GT7 grind, and I'll rate the game a 9 out of 10. I don't mind the microtransactions so much. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. We are going to dive into that microtransaction conversation for sure. KD, you're saying GT7 MTX is a real problem. Cars shouldn't be more expensive than they are in previous games, but it is not hard to get credits. It's not as hard to get credits as critics are saying. Yeah, KD, I think that's kind of where the mismatch is right now. On one hand, people, I think, are blowing it out of proportion how much of a grind is required to actually unlock these cars. Like, it's really not that bad. Not nearly. It's essentially what you would expect. From what I've heard, again, I'm taking feedback from GT7 players. From what I've heard, the grind in GT7 is literally no different than the grind in pretty much any other previous GT game. It's always been this way. They call it a car PG for a reason, and this is what most players expect. But on the other hand, you do have to kind of look at Sony and be like, again, bro, what the F are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you changing the price of the cars? And it's obvious that Sony is getting greedy here. This is where the problem lies. It's not. This conversation is tough because there's so many layers to it, and I want to try to go through each layer because there are, the saying, you got to pick and choose your battles. It's very much true. I could sit here and just take a hardline stance and say, yo, microtransactions suck and I'll never support them and I'll never buy a game at full price that offers microtransactions. I could take that hardline stance, but I'm only hurting myself. That's a battle that's already been lost. No one's fighting that battle in 2022. Okay? So the battle that's being fought now that I can partake in is, okay, well, AAA video games, full-priced video games, not all of them, but many of them are going to have microtransactions. So what's the next best thing I can do? Well, now I have to fight it needs to be fair and it needs to be balanced battle. Microtransactions need to be implemented into in a game, whether it's full price or not, to where it makes no difference to me. It makes no difference to me that they exist. It makes no difference to me that, John Doe is spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on buying everything that's offered, and that makes zero difference to me and the way I am playing and enjoying the game and experiencing it. That's the battle we have to fight these days when it comes to this, and that's why it's difficult. I know people want me to crush Sony. You're saying, so are we just going to ignore COD microtransactions? No, we can't. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's part of gaming now. It's never going to go away. And I think a lot of publishers have learned the hard way by pushing things too far. But for me, it kind of comes down to look, if I buy a game at full price and I find out it has microtransactions, the only thing I'm truly going to care about, and I'm just being totally real right now. It doesn't matter if it's an Xbox game, doesn't matter if it's a PlayStation game, doesn't matter if it's a Nintendo game. It does not matter. The only thing I want to know, do those microtransactions and the people buying them have any negative impact on me whatsoever? Does it alter the experience of the game, whether it's competitive or not? Does it, what does it do for me? And if the answer is simply nothing, just literally nothing, they just don't want to grind, they don't want to spend as much time playing the game, and they want to fast track their way to all this stuff that doesn't actually affect the game, then that's what matters. And the reason why I was getting crushed online, for those who are wondering, and I'll get to these super chats in just a second, the reason why I was getting crushed on Twitter was because I quote tweeted an article from, I think it was Push Square, where they were, it was what the headlines were saying. The headlines were basically saying yo, it's pretty bad. GT7's microtransactions, it's not looking so good. And I did some research into it, and there was one thing in particular that I kind of didn't really, I didn't put two and two together quickly enough, but basically that's what I was trying to figure out. I took the time to research what is going on with these microtransactions? Are they actually as egregious as some of the internet is making it seem? Are they actually as bad? And to me, it didn't really seem that bad. But the one thing that stuck out was like, yeah, Sony is increasing the prices. Now, people pulled out old tweets of mine, and I'm sure that there's video clips as well, where I basically went in hard on Xbox. I think it was specifically Gears 5, where they announced new characters that you could unlock, and you either could buy them as a microtransaction, or you could play the game and grind for them. And it was a little bit of a grind, you know? And I basically blamed Game Pass, and I was shitting all over Gears 5, where I'm like, I told you guys this is what you could expect if you supported Game Pass, and, you know, this is bullshit. You know, this is garbage. And I'm not gonna, like, I can't lie. It's right there. Like, I was, you know, vicious towards them, man. And a lot of Gears fans were like pissed. They're like, bro, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad. Like, we're just gonna play the game and grind for it. It's really not that bad. And it became clear that I was being unfair. I was being unfair towards Xbox and Microsoft. And in this case, people were pulling that up and throwing it in my face because they're like, dude, it's a very similar situation, almost an identical situation here with GT7. And you're just totally like, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, you know what? You're totally right. Like, that is the epitome of hypocrisy. And I am being hypocritical. And it made me realize that I have to, as they say, keep the same energy where, look, I'm either going to shit all over all microtransactions and hate all microtransactions, or, and I can't just pick and choose, or I'm going to be fair towards each game that offers microtransactions and give it a little bit of breathing room, you know? So the lesson I learned here is the next time I see some headlines being written up, and I'm saying this is important. To me, it's important. And I'm sure it's important to you guys to an extent. The next time I see salacious headlines being written up about an Xbox video game because of their microtransactions, I'm not going to immediately quote tweet those articles and be like, ha, see, Xbox sucks, Game Pass sucks, or, you know, Microsoft screwing it up. I'm going to do a little bit of digging and a little bit of research. I'm going to check to see, are these headlines justified? Is it as bad as people are making it sound? Or are people, you know, once again, producing a lot of fake outrage? And it turns out that, you know, I don't want to fuel the very thing I hate. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, I don't want to be the person that is creating fake outrage over something that's really not as big of a deal as it realistically is, and be part of that problem. And then also turn around and be like, hey, you know, it's not that big of a deal because Sony's doing it. That's all. So, you know, I totally understand why people were calling me out for that. And that is something I will absolutely own up to, because, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, I don't want to be a complete hypocrite. I don't want to be hypocritical at all. I understand that it's impossible for everybody to be perfect, but it kind of just made me take a step back and realize that going forward with pretty much all games, you know, I'm not going to jump on any game that has microtransactions. The only time I'm ever going to jump on a game that has microtransactions is when it's very obvious that it's broke. Like, for example, I'm not saying GT7s are broken, but I will jump on Sony because it's like, Sony, GT Sports microtransaction model where people could buy individual cars for a few bucks here and there. People liked that. People were okay with that. There was no reason whatsoever for Sony to decide we're going to remove that and only make it so that, hey, you can only do it through credits. What that ultimately means is you're probably going to have to spend what you are. It's been proven. You're going to have to spend way more money than you otherwise would have buying cars individually. You know, so instead of buying, you know, X car for $5, maybe that's the only car you care about and the only car you want. If that car is like 15 million credits or 20 million credits, and you want to buy, like, this is where I'm saying, I almost want to encourage people, like, dude, don't buy these microtransactions. I'm not trying, I mean, look, it's your money, do what you want, but it's just sending a bad message. You know, that's all I'm trying to say. If you want a car, and even if it does take like a bit of grinding, try to grind it out, man. Try to play the game. Even if it takes you longer than you would hoped, you're going to feel more satisfied doing it that way. And you're also not going to be sending the message to Sony that it's totally cool that you did this. And that's my recommendation. And so microtransactions, man, you know, they're just it's reality, man. We have to live with them. We have to deal with them. And the truth is, I don't actually mind video game publishers wanting to extract some more money, because it's like, put yourself in their shoes. Okay. Let's say you made a game and you're charging $60 for the game, and somebody comes up to you and you're like, you know, you're going to make a good amount of money selling this game at full price. It looks like it's going to sell well. It's like, yeah, that's great. You're going to make this amount. I mean, realistically, seriously, put yourself in these people's shoes. If they were to come up to you and be like, well, you could add in some currency that people could buy. Like, you could make it so people could buy these credits that they would otherwise just grind for. And you would literally like triple your profits, right? I'm just saying, like, anybody who's looking to make money, it's pretty damn hard to turn to that and be like, nah, that's okay. I'm going to leave that money on the table. I'm not saying it justifies it. It's just that, you know, I'm not going to blame developers. Publishers are a different story, but developers were just like, can we make more money? Like, from the people who are okay buying them? And that's where I feel like we have mostly found a healthy middle ground with microtransactions. A healthy middle ground. That healthy middle ground, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just to wrap this up, the healthy middle ground comes in the form of, if you are a player who is a fan of a game and you're buying that game for full price and you do not want to spend another dime on the game, they got your 60, they got your 70, and that's it. You just want to play the entirety of the game. You're saying, yeah, that's called greed, MBG. I know that, but I'm just saying that I know we can be like, man, it's evil to be greedy. And maybe it is. It is. It's not good to be greedy. But we're talking about the human race here, people. Okay? Like, the greed runs rampant, and it's not, again, that just like the microtransactions aren't going anywhere, the greed isn't going to go anywhere either. So again, this is where it's just trying to find a healthy balance where it's like, if there are publishers and developers who are going to find, like, they're going to find ways to make more money. Like, we thought microtransactions were bad, and now we're hearing about NFT, you know, Square Enix, Ubisoft, NFTs. It's just like, bro, like, let's not take this any further. You want to do microtransactions? Make it so they don't affect the game. Make it so it doesn't negatively affect progression. Make it so they're balanced and they're fair. It's just for cosmetics for people who just don't want to spend time actually playing the game. No harm, no foul. You know, people can spend money how they want. So, and that goes for all games. It goes for all games. If I had it my way, this is the last thing I'll say. If I had it my way and I was in charge of everything, no full price game would have microtransactions. End of discussion. That if it was my way, when you buy a full price video game, $60, $70, no microtransactions. Period. End of discussion. You either play the damn game the way it was meant to be played, or you don't. You know, that would be it. That would be it. But that's, I don't have control over that. So, you know, we have to make do with what we get. MBG, ironic, isn't it? In games, we celebrate overcoming challenge. In real life, we're like, that's how it is, dog. Defeatism. Yeah, dude, I know, man. But it's because it's like, well, what is the ultimate challenge to overcome? Who knows? You know, that's why I say you have to pick and choose your battles. MBG, you'd make that company go bankrupt. Exactly, dude. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm saying this from my position. I'm just trying to point out that I can see both sides. I can see both sides because, you know, I feel like it's easy for people to, be holier than thou, I guess you could say, when they're in a completely different position. So I don't want to come off that way. I just want to come off as I can see both sides. And that's why I said I think there can be a fair middle ground. You're saying, somebody says it'll be interesting to see how bad they are in factions. I'm going to get to these super chats, but, speaking of factions, see, this is the thing is, you're going to see Sony embracing microtransactions in a way that we have never seen before. I know that the Last of Us factions originally did have microtransactions, and I'm pretty sure they did it badly. Chat, let me know if I'm wrong about this, but if I'm not mistaken, Naughty Dog did get quite a bit of criticism because they actually were offering some like gameplay buffs of some kind. I don't know if they were weapons or some, like, basically things that did affect gameplay as microtransactions, and people were pissed. You're saying, MBG, it's not greed if it's optional. People need to stop throwing the greed term around. Yeah, I get. Yeah, I mean that is true. If it's truly if it's optional and has no negative ramifications on the person who, say, wouldn't have the money to buy it, then I agree with that. Somebody says they were awful. They were horrendous. Yeah, see, that's where it's like, at that time, I wasn't paying as much attention to the industry, so like I don't know if Naughty Dog got a bunch of heat for that or not. But that's why you're saying YouTubers have microtransactions called chats. Is that greed? I mean, again, it's all perspective. In somebody's eyes, it is. In my eyes, it's, hey, this is what helped support my channel, Bro, like, look at this guy coming in the chat being like, shilling for Sony, LMFAO. Like, I'm literally taking a dump on Naughty Dog right now, bro, and their microtransactions, like, oh, dude. I was not kidding earlier when I say you see people show up and they are not listening. They're not listening. But yeah, that is something that makes me a little bit nervous. It is something that makes me kind of, apprehensive. Not apprehensive, but I really hope Naughty Dog, as well as every other PlayStation studio, they understand that there is a right way to incorporate microtransactions and a wrong way. We've seen this. We've seen live service games. We've seen enough of them succeed and enough of them fail to know how you can incorporate microtransactions and find, again, that healthy middle ground where this is totally fine, this is totally fair, it's cool. It's cool. And then we've seen the other side where it's like, what are you guys doing? You're literally ruining the game with these microtransactions. You're breaking the game. And I feel like there's been enough examples of both that surely anybody over there at Sony who's making a live service game or a multiplayer component to their game, they have to be aware of this. The good news is, if you follow job listings at Naughty Dog, one of the positions they've been hiring for is specifically developers who have a lot of experience with monetization in games, monetization schemes, and just kind of world economies and whatnot. So, hopefully they're going to get that right. Because if not, well, we're going to have some problems. Kipford, sorry it took so long to get to your super chats, guys. Kitford, you're saying, I feel pretty achieved with the fact I platinumed and 100% gave progression for Horizon Forbidden West. Absolutely love this game. Well, congratulations, Kitford. I'm hoping I can do that same thing, but maybe you can let me know how much time it took you to do that, because I'm seeing people here saying that that they're spending like 85 hours and getting to like 34% progress or something like that. So you should feel proud though. That's definitely a good achievement, man. Horizon's a big game. JDTV, you're saying GT7 tries to teach people about car culture and it does a fantastic job. I'm into racing games and it's literally a game for everyone. P.S. You love the DualSense. Yeah, I've heard the DualSense is very. I heard the DualSense is very, very well implemented when it comes to GT7. That is one thing that's definitely enticing me. But yeah, it's that's the one thing about GT7 that I'm hearing compared to other racers is it's very heavy on wanting to teach people and get people kind of interested in car culture. And that is interesting to me because I'm not into car culture. And I do wonder if I were to play GT7 and really kind of like dive into it, if it would maybe change my perspective. And I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I am becoming more of a car person. I think that's very cool. What I think is cool about that is you can tell there's like a huge passion there from the developers to want to try to do that. So that's pretty cool. Swaggy G saying, what's up, bro? I'm hyped for Infamous and Sly. I believe the rumors are true. Imagine what the visuals will look like and how the DualSense will be incorporated. Yeah, dude. So I'm going to be real right now. I'm not a big fan of Sly Cooper because I've never played Sly Cooper. I've never been interested in Sly Cooper. I'll definitely give it a chance and check it out if it's true that we're getting another one. But Infamous, oh man, I would love to see what an Infamous game would look like on PS5, man. If Sucker Punch is making a new Infamous alongside Ghost of Tsushima 2, which I don't know how realistic that is, but oh man, that would be amazing. I mean, even Infamous Second Son holds up really well. If you play that on your PS5, it holds up really, really well. Really, really well. The effects in that game, awesome. To think, you know, how much further they could push that with PS5 horsepower. Yeah, that sounds good to me, man. I hope it's true. Kevin Reavers, you're saying they're dynamic, so they can and will drop, but people are whining about elite cars. They wanted this to be a sim this time. This makes it closer. That is true. I mean, look, it's hard for me to talk about the grind in GT7 again because I haven't played it. But a lot of people are telling me that like it's really not that hard to earn credits. A lot of them, like it's really not as bad as people are making it sound. And you know, I've like just from where I'm sitting, like isn't that part of playing these games? You know, like kind of like doing these races over and over and over and over again and saving up. Isn't that part of the game? You know, like. Because if I were to play GT7, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting like a single player experience where it's like you're going from point A to point B to point C, or like a linear experience, right? Like I'm expecting a grind. So there's even ways to farm credits. Well, there you go. There you go. By the way, guys, we have over 830 people here. Please do me a big favor. If you want to help support the podcast, hit that like button. We're lagging behind right now. We don't even have 300 likes. I know we can do better than that. Let's see if we can get to 400 likes, maybe 500. If everybody chips in, we could do it right now. So please hit that like button for me. The only reason I ask is because likes help push the content out there to new viewers. And Kevin Reavers, again, you're saying also don't forget Gran Turismo, since they have been online, has a long support / update window. Costs add up. Well, we did talk recently about Sony announcing that they have over 10 live service games in development. I think GT7 definitely counts as one of those live service games. It'd be even more fascinating if it didn't, but I think GT7 does count as one of them. And you're right. They do have to maintain the game. So, Mike, you're saying what upsets me most about the GT7 microtransactions is Sony hiding it during the review process. That is beyond being greedy. Yeah, that's the thing. Again, this is where it's like I don't like that type of shit from Sony and any publisher where I don't. The reason why it's obvious why they hid it. They hid it not because people weren't expecting microtransactions. They hid it because people were going to realize they essentially increased the price. If you're somebody who, you know, does buy cars in GT, they increase the price and how expensive it would probably be to get them. And that's the stuff I don't like. You know, unfortunately, with Jim Ryan as the head of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, look, I'm not trying to give anybody a pass here who is an executive running a business. You know, whether it's Phil Spencer, whether it's Jim Ryan, whether it's anybody else, their job is to extract as much money from customers as possible. Their job is to do it while also not angering the customer while they're doing it. And to me, this just seems like, I don't know, man, ever since Jim Ryan took over, Sony has just been more, they haven't been like super aggressive, but, you know, they do things on occasion now where it's like, that's not the Sony I know. Like that's not the PlayStation that I thought was cool. Like why are you doing that? And it's true. Business is business, of course. And I'm not trying to make anything more than it is, but it's just I will say, and this is true. This is true for anybody who follows anything. You got to be careful how much leeway you give these businesses in certain areas, because if you give them an inch, there's a very good chance, it's not guaranteed, but there's a very good chance and a real possibility they will then take a mile. If you remember, it seemed like back with the Horizon Forbidden West, you remember the upgrade thing? Dude, that was such a strange situation because literally it seemed like Jim Ryan or whoever was writing up that blog forgot that they said they would give out a free update. You could tell they literally forgot that they said that. And they basically screwed themselves. And it's moments like that where it's like, if you had just decided for all cross-gen games to just give out free updates, you wouldn't be you wouldn't have put yourself in that pot of boiling water, And so it's you just, again, you got to be careful with Sony. There are things that they do, some things they do where it's like, I don't mind, and I think people are making a bigger deal out of it. And then there are some things that they do where it's like, got to be careful here. Now, here's a question. I got a question for chat because somebody brought this up to me, and I'm going to get to these other super chats in just a second. But before I forget this, people were pointing out that we should be a little bit nervous. And I am not familiar with this. I'm just trying to get some feedback here. We should be a little bit nervous about Bungie working with Sony, because I've seen some people say that when it comes to, I guess you could say, monetization that is not very good or not pro-consumer or not even totally fair, apparently Bungie is pretty bad with Destiny. Now, again, before anybody jumps on me, I don't play Destiny. I have no idea. I've just seen a few people say that, and I'm just trying to figure out, is that true? Because I was under the impression that Destiny was handled very well, and people liked that, and that people respected Bungie because they did a good job with the monetization. But I don't know. Somebody says Destiny is fine. You're saying no, it's literally mostly cosmetics. It's fake news, MBG. Saying it doesn't matter if it's anti-consumer. They still have loads of people playing their game. Say Bungie are very bad. They have made many mistakes. Stop talking about what you don't know. Next topic. Bro, I'm literally asking the chat. I'm trying to learn about this because I'm interested. Somebody says Destiny is not that bad. Play the Witch Queen. Maybe I should try it. Destiny 2 paywalls, overpowered weapons, and DLC. Is that true? Because that sounds pretty bad. You're saying Destiny is fine now, but it used to not be fine. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was just curious because I've seen, yes, another person says it's way better now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that I was under my whole thing about it, my whole thought process is if Destiny was really that bad and was that anti-consumer, how could it still be doing so well? But that's good to know, though. It's good to know. Eric from 850 says, greed is what led these corporations to make these games in the first place. I mean, yeah, when you talk about I feel like it's difficult to talk about business and greed not to be a part of it. You know, it kind of is inherently a part of it, if you think about it. It's getting a little philosophical there, but all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that noise into the mic. Somebody complained about that. I got a little bit of post-nasal drip here, so sorry if I make obnoxious noises into the mic. Okay, Kapapa, thank you for the 5, buddy. Josh, you're saying, let's call it for what it is, man. PS5 has been and still is destroying Xbox with no sign of slowing. You have a channel representing PlayStation, butthurt fanboys who have had it rough for over a generation are going to come at you. It's true, man. I mean, there's really not a lot you're saying here that isn't untrue. It's just my whole thing is I think I was overly aggressive on Xbox at a time when they were like, I was kind of kicking Xbox and Xbox fans while they were down. So it's understandable why now that they're not down, they're gonna come back and be like, you know what? We're watching you. You know, we're watching you. I get it. But you know, something that I came across recently that really puts things in perspective, and this is not like a console war thing. This is just a fact. And I guess it can be used as like as ammunition in the console war if you want it to. But you know, we got data recently for 2021 that revealed that in 2021, PlayStation and Sony held 56% of overall market share in all of gaming. I think Nintendo is at 29%, and I think Xbox was at like 27 or 28%. All right. Now, what's interesting about that is Sony was able to get that number almost 50%, 46%. They were able to maintain that during a supply shortage and during a year where they were not releasing their biggest games. Returnal was a good game. Ratchet was definitely a good game. But guys, I know people saying 46%. I'm saying did I say 56%? If I said 56%, my fault. I meant 46%. Maybe I said that mistakenly. But nearly 50% is, I guess, a good way to put it too. And so it's just like it's one of these things where you talk about fake outrage, you talk about, you know, living in a bubble and people just kind of saying stupid shit all the time. I mean, guys, do you remember when Microsoft bought Activision back in January? I mean, it feels like it was just yesterday, but it was actually like over a month ago at this point. They bought Activision. How many people did you see take to the internet? Sony's done. It's over. PlayStation's done. Microsoft just crushed PlayStation. And it became so much where it's like, oh my God, you guys are fucking annoying. You know, like you just sound so stupid, and they're running rampant. And I get it. I've been there. We make our mistakes. You know, you get a little bit in over your head. You get too rambunctious. I get it. But I'm looking at where we are now, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. Sony takes almost 50% market share. They have games dropping left and right that are reviewing well. Again, I'm just trying to be objective here. They're reviewing well. They're selling well. Fans are happy. The PS5 is still flying off shelves to the point where there's still a supply constraint. Sony's making acquisitions of their own. Dude, to me, it seems like Sony is in a better position than they've ever been in. Like, if Sony was already in the lead, they're still like in the lead by a lot at this point. And I know this comes off as like fanboy stuff, and I'm only framing it this way because, again, this is the stuff that people start to say. You start to see these narratives crop up, and you just gotta wonder, like, what bubble are these people living in that they don't see this? You're saying Sony was at 48%? Well, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that Sony will begin to lose more market share, not only as Microsoft becomes more aggressive and Nintendo is going to do their thing, but also because other players are entering the game, so to speak, you know? But my whole thing is, I've said before, and I'll say it again, Sony should, and PlayStation fans as well. You know, no one should be sitting back. No one should be sitting back and saying, as I sit back here, and saying, you know what? Sony is number one. They don't need to do shit. They don't need to worry about shit. I'm not of that mindset at all. I'm not, because that is the type of mindset that makes you go from first place to last place real quick. Real quick. And so I was just excited. You know, I was feeling good about the title of this podcast being PlayStation is absolutely crushing it, because it's like, dude, no offense to people who are pumping up Xbox and Microsoft for buying publishers. And I know that when they drop that news, like when you hear, oh, that's right, baby. We just acquired Activision for $68 billion. What are you going to do now? I get it, man. That's going to hit the industry and everybody who follows the industry like a ton of bricks. I get that. But when the dust settles and you see things for what they really are, and you see it clearly, and all these people that come out of the woodwork that start, again, getting overly rambunctious, they start to go back into their homes, and you just see things for what they actually are. I'll tell you what I see. All right? I see PlayStation in 2022 continuing to do what they do best and doing it even better. I see them taking what they did correctly and what they did right last generation and amplifying that. Nice, creepy, overhyped voice, bro. Thanks. I see them doing this. I see them making sure that if you are a PS5 owner, that if you are a PS4 owner, you have not just a game to look forward to. You got plenty of content coming your way. Plenty of content. And you're like, people, I know it sounds funny. It's like, people are like, yo, we're eating good. Like, yeah, we are, dude. We genuinely are. And what I see now that the dust has settled is no one's talking. No one's talking about Activision. No one's talking about Call of Duty exclusivity because Microsoft already made it clear. That's not a thing. Nobody's talking about Crash Bandicoot being owned by Microsoft because nobody cares, dude. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between, yo, we just bought them. We bought those guys. And it's like, I see somebody saying, how's Babylon's Fall doing? Let's get something straight, bro. Babylon's Fall is the equivalent. This is PlayStation's Crossfire X. All right? I'm not counting Babylon's Fall when I'm talking about the content. When I'm talking about us eating good, bro, I ain't talking about Babylon's Fall. I ain't talking about that. God damn. I feel you can tell Platinum Games is like sweating over there, bro. Like, oh shit. So about that scalebound, Microsoft, we got to make that scalebound now. I mean, you can tell it's bad. You can tell it's bad. But you say Sony owns Destiny and nobody cares. This is what I'm saying, man. Like, the acquisition wars are. I'm not saying they're stupid. They're not stupid. They do have a place and they are relevant. But people call it getting defensive. If you go back, and I get why it's perceived as defensiveness, but it wasn't me being defensive. It was just me coming out and being like, guys, that's great that Microsoft bought Activision, but I'm gonna be straight up right now. People were shitting on me because the day after Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard, Sony put out a new trailer for Horizon Forbidden West. They put out the story trailer, and it was a great trailer, dude. Like, out of all the trailers that Sony put out, that was the one where it's like, oh shit. All right, like, yeah, Horizon's coming. And I made a video right after Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard. And I said, Sony provides the perfect response to Microsoft acquiring Activision. And people shit on me for this, bro. Like, people actually attacked me and came after me and called me stupid. And I'm like, you know what? There's not a goddamn thing stupid about what I'm saying. It's the fucking truth. Like, you have one corporation over here doing the only thing they can do during a time where they have nothing coming because they already released their 2 games for the holiday, where they're like, we just bought another publisher and the deal probably won't go through for another year and a half. And Call of Duty's not going to be exclusive, by the way. And I'm over here being like, okay, that's huge. That's huge. And then Sony's like, we just want to remind everybody, we got this big AAA game coming out, like, in just a couple weeks. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. And look at where we are now, bro. Look at where we are now. On my PS5, I played Sifu. Been playing Horizon Forbidden West. As I said, I can play GT7 at any time. Got Ghostwire coming out the end of this month. And I'm not trying to turn it into a competitive thing here. I know it's impossible not. I know there's no reason for me to say that because it is a competitive thing. But it's just people, they take these stances and they take these positions like they're so right. And they're just not, dude. Like, maybe in their eyes they're right, because if you don't give a shit, if you don't give a shit about Horizon Forbidden West and you think that it's a dumb game and you just don't care about it, doesn't interest you, then of course you're not going to see what they did as the perfect response. I get that. But to all the people who are excited for that game, I'll tell you what, they care a hell of a lot more about that Horizon story trailer than they do about a $1 trillion corporation flexing how much money they can spend. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. But, you know, it's cool. It's cool. Because I'm just a delusional fanboy. We all know that. I'm just a crazy delusional fanboy. Josh, I didn't see your other. Josh, you're saying again, a message to the Xbox crybabies: demand better from Xbox instead of review bombing and trying to come at PlayStation fans for having games to play. Well, unfortunately, you know, I'm going to be real right now, bro. God, why am I saying bro? I'm really annoying myself. Why am I saying bro so much? Like, I don't know where this is coming from. Whatever, I'll just go with it. I'm gonna call it Press X Brocast. I'm trying to get comfortable over here. Do I have a friend that says bro a lot? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so, man. But I guess to kind of, you know, Josh, I get what you're saying, man. Like, and I'm not trying to feed the toxicity here. I just want to make that clear, because I get accused of that a lot. And, you know, I get, again, I know I get excited and I have my rants and whatnot, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there isn't a group of extremely loud and extremely obnoxious PlayStation fans that are just like the really loud and obnoxious Xbox fans. We know this. You know, it's like people taking screenshots of games and comparing them and shitting all over them. You know, it happens. It happens. You can't stop it. Kipford, you're saying, I played over 110 hours, but got 100% around. You're saying, sorry, got 100% around 100 hours. Now I'm upgrading all weapons and armor just so I can keep playing until New Game Plus is a thing. Damn, dude. That is dedication, man. I almost said bro again. I said man. That is dedication, my friend. Anything but bro. That is dedication, Kipford. 110 hours. That's impressive. That's impressive, I gotta say. Good job, dude. True Witty, you're saying there's a persistent bug in PS5 I can't share. It's a bit vague. It's a bit vague. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say about that, man. It's a little vague. Onyx, you're saying, I remember MBG, you had a 4-hour podcast talking about it. And after that, all's about Sony acquisitions, no more organic growth. Think about hires, selling game on your platform is gonna free for Xbox, gonna be free for Xbox for $70. Onyx, I'm gonna be honest with you right now, man. I'm having a struggle comprehending what's being said right now. I remember MBG had a 4-hour podcast talking about after all. Dude, I'm sorry, but I can't make out what you're trying to convey. I apologize, man. I apologize. Maybe it'll hit me at some point. Saying MBG, come on. But you yourself, usually on Twitter, giving your thoughts as well as making you a target on other podcast conversations. Well, I'll tell you, if there's one thing that I've learned, and this is like so prevalent, man. It's so prevalent. It's not going away. WD that often. I'm sorry, guys. The squeakiness of this chair. It's here. I got a WD-40 that. It's annoying because this is a new chair too. I shouldn't have to deal with this. This is ridiculous. This is unacceptable. But something that's so prevalent is the realization, the consistent realization that Twitter's just not reliable for really anything when it comes to when it comes to the general consensus, when it comes to the overall opinion of most people. It's not reliable, even a little bit. And so, for me, I gotta stop with Twitter, dude. Like, it's a kind of an addiction. I hate to say that, but it is. Like, I've garnered such a large following. It's hard to turn away from Twitter. It is. I feel like my lip is going numb. I know that sounds so weird, but I feel like this like one part of my lip is legit going numb. I don't know what that means. Weird, man. Weird. I'm just sitting here trying to talk and do my thing, and I'm like, why does my lip feel numb? Maybe I'll have to look into that when this podcast is over. But low blood sugar? I don't think so. A stroke? I hope not. Cocaine. Of course, it's going to be cocaine. Nerves. Yeah, I don't know. Things have been kind of stressful lately. Could be that. Stroke, take 5, bro. I'm stroking out in the middle of my podcast, guys. A bug bite? Dude, that would be a weird place to get a bug bite. I don't know, but I've been saying bro a lot. And now the left side of my lip's going numb. Something's going on, guys. Something weird's going on here. I don't know. I might have to go get looked at. You're saying you got that symptom before you got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? I don't think I'm becoming diabetic. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the healthiest eater, but I'd be surprised. The power of bro is fighting back. I'm being possessed. All right. We're going like way off track here, way off the rails. Somebody spiked my body armor. I'm feeling abandoned. You guys are crazy. He's being bro-zest. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop there. This is getting stupid. Really stupid really quickly. All right. Let me see. Perfect image. You're saying, I don't care for Call of Duty anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I think most people feel that way. You're saying Blue Box tweeted? No, they didn't. No, you're just trying to get my attention. It worked, but no, they didn't. They didn't tweet. Matt McDonald Media says, what's your take on Forza Horizon 5 versus GT7 from a quality perspective? I've seen many screenshots and videos from non-biased channels. Forza Horizon 5 owns GT7. I don't know, dude. To be honest, like my experience with Forza Horizon 5 is watching video of it and seeing screenshots, and the same can be said for GT7. Like, I have not watched any direct comparisons, so I really can't say, like, which one I think looks better or has the edge. I really don't know. I will say, apparently, GT7's character models, which are not important, like, you're talking about the side characters that you can't really see clearly. They're just like in the stands or something. Apparently they look atrocious. Apparently they look absolutely atrocious. So, but other than that, like, I don't know, man. They both look like good games. Talking about which one is better than the other, maybe I'll have to watch a comparison. But I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But you're saying that you think Forza Horizon 5 owns GT7? I mean, I will admit, man, Forza Horizon 5 is a very good-looking game. So I will give it that. It wouldn't surprise me if it came out on top. But GT7's looked pretty good, too, from what I've seen. So I don't know. Alex Mercer, the prototype, you're saying, I hope Sucker Punch makes a new Sly Cooper, an Infamous game. Ghost of Tsushima is great and all, but it's been so long, such a long time since Second Son. Yeah, that's my whole thing, too, is I feel like we're not just going to get Ghost of Tsushima 2 right away. I think it's going to come, and I think it's going to come at the end of this generation, but I think in between that, I mean, I don't know for sure. There's no way for me to know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if we got an Infamous game in between Ghost of Tsushima and its sequel. I hope we do, because I do think, if I remember correctly, data on Infamous Second Son revealed that it actually sold really well for Sony. Like, it sold really well on PS4 and it was a big success. So if that's the case, it would make sense that they would want to get another Infamous out. When it comes to Sly Cooper, I know that there are people who are going to like hit the roof if that turns out to be real. So I think Sly Cooper's coming. I mean, we're hearing that both Sly Cooper and Infamous are coming back. So I guess I'll ask the chat. Which one would you... I mean, we're apparently going to get both, but if you could only choose, would you prefer a new Sly Cooper or a new Infamous? Which one? Which one would you pick? The Caped Crusader, you're saying, to all the Xbots that come here every Sunday to hate, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm not trying to encourage any type of hate, obviously. But I know that, some people are going to show up, and so, yeah, hit the subscribe button. That helps. Hit the like button while you're at it. Jimmy, you're saying, I feel as if Starfield is Xbox's last hope. If that flops, this generation will probably be set in stone. I think there is a lot. I do think there's a lot riding on Starfield. And I think that at this point in time, Microsoft is relying on Bethesda Studios to do what Xbox first-party studios couldn't do, with the exception of Playground Games. I feel like Microsoft has been wanting some hit games, some really big hit games with a lot of prestige around them, and they just haven't been able to do that internally other than Forza. Gears, I think, is still held in high regard. Halo, not to go back to Halo, but I do just want to add one thing to what I said earlier. I am so confused I'm just confused as to how Halo got such good review scores and had so much praise around it when it launched, and now it just seems like so many people are turning on it again. I just see so much conversation about people saying it should have been delayed again. It's disappointing, and I'm like, I'm very confused. I don't know. Like, was it just one of those things where it just was good at first, but then maybe, I don't know. Is it the fact that they weren't able to keep supporting it? You're saying Halo campaign was king. How was the campaign? I never really looked into that. I never really looked into the campaign. I've seen a few people give their take on it, but I never like watched reviews or anything, so I really don't know if the campaign was good or not. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what? I can't read your name, but somebody says that's just Twitter. It's not really representative. You're absolutely right about that. You are right about that. Somebody's saying the campaign was short. Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. I am curious to see if Microsoft can pull off the Halo Live service. Because I am, again, as I said earlier, I'm just kind of surprised that it's not doing as well as I mean, I thought, hey, I remember when Microsoft announced that Halo Infinite was going to be free to play, the multiplayer, and I remember like people were like, oh my God, dude, this game is going to slay. Like this game is going to kill because of that. And I thought so too. I'm like, that's a huge move. And just to see it kind of like, I don't know, man, peter out the way it is, although it probably still has a decent player base, I'm just surprised. And it really does make me wonder if Sony needs to be very careful about how they approach their live service games because, you know, Microsoft has had more experience in this regard. And if they're struggling, I don't know, man. We'll talk about the PlayStation event. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay. I just had a few. All right. All right. I'm sorry that sometimes YouTube does this weird thing where it like removes all my super chats and I cannot see them anymore. And I try real hard not to get stressed out when it does that. There we go. All right, I got him back. Yeah, so when it comes to Starfield, dude, we'll see. We'll see. I know that there are a lot of people who are like this. It's guaranteed that it's going to be like a big hit game. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it wouldn't surprise me if that is the game that like, okay, Xbox has their killer app now. And it maybe Starfield will be the new Halo. Maybe Starfield will be the new Halo. Not in terms of like, it's not a first-person shooter, obviously, but I'm talking about like the game that's like associated with Xbox and like the game that everybody talks about with Xbox, because I feel like that's what Microsoft kind of needs at this point. They need something new and fresh and big. And Starfield could be that. It definitely could. Whether or not it's its last hope, doubtful. At this point, with Microsoft's full backing, Xbox, they're not going anywhere ever. They'll be here forever. So, Magnum Visuals, you're saying GT7 is like a Souls game with the manual shifting and like Returnal with the tracks. You don't just race on every track and call it a day. So addicting. Interesting. Very interesting. It sounds like it requires a lot of precision. That's a really interesting comparison, actually, Magnum Visuals. Fascinating. True Witty, you're saying the bug won't allow me to upload videos, send screenshots, or put them on Twitter from PS5. It happened before I reformatted my PS5. It fixed it, but the bug is back. That is really strange. I appreciate you letting me know, by the way. I appreciate you letting me know because I read your super chat earlier and I wasn't totally sure what you were referring to, but I don't know, man. Have you tried calling Sony? Or maybe I know Sony's customer service is very weak, and very unhelpful, like 99% of the time. But I have not encountered a bug like that, and I'm not really sure. Maybe you could try posting in the PS5 subreddit, see if anybody has any good advice for you there. That would be my suggestion, maybe. Zanarcan Blitzer, you're saying, MBG, you forgot to do the member shout out last week, but the episode did go for almost 4 hours. Anyway, do you have any plans for the 100th episode? Are you going to dress up for the special event t-shirt? Well, thank you for reminding me of that, Zanarcan Blitzer. I've been pretty bad at that. I've been kind of saving it for the end of the podcast, and because it's the end of the podcast, I'm so warped mentally and drained that I end up forgetting. So I'll have to remember to do that at the end of this podcast. As I said earlier, when it comes to the 100th episode, as of right now, I don't have any specific plans. My tinfoil hat 100th episode. I'll do like a troll episode for my 100th episode. It'll be I don't know. Technically, because it's called Press X Podcast, it could be maybe confused for an Xbox podcast. We'll do a whole Xbox podcast. I'm kidding. I don't think anybody would enjoy that. At least not my audience, But no, I don't have any specific plans for next week. My hope is that the 100th episode that happens next week will be a good one, because I think there's a pretty good chance that Sony's going to do something this upcoming week. I do. I think that I think there's a good chance. And I know people get upset because they're like, dude, I feel like you say that every week, but I referenced something earlier that I do want to talk about after I go over these next few super chats. I said how it seems like there is a chance that Sony could be doing a state of play and number 100 head reveal. It'd be pretty underwhelming. It would be pretty underwhelming. All right, guys, for the 100th episode of my podcast, here we go. I'm going to show you my hairline. I'm telling you, it would be just so underwhelming. It's just a receding hairline. It's not, you see them all over the place, But you know what? I don't know, man. Maybe I'll let my hair grow out, like what hair I do have left. I'm just going to let it grow out. I'm never going to take my hat off, but you'll just see hair growing down here. And then one day I'll just take my hat off and just have like no hair here, just all back here. That would be funny. But the pants reveal. Don't start with the feet thing again, man. Don't start with that. Go bald for the release of Ragnarok. I've shaved my head multiple times. It's just, the only thing with that is it's hard to keep up with. It is pretty high maintenance, which makes it kind of hard. But anyway, Will777 says, I bought a Series S for Christmas, excited for Game Pass. Played the Master Chief Collection, beat it, played Infinite, and stopped playing halfway through. Haven't played my Xbox since. PlayStation is truly killing it. Well, my whole thing is this, is like when you talk about you talk about these platform holders, Microsoft and Sony, their goal is to get people into the platform and staying engaged in the platform. And it just from that perspective, I think Sony has been killing it, man. They have been doing a great job. People have told me or encouraged me, they're like, dude, you should go play on Xbox, go try out some games there. And I'm like, you're picking a bad time. It seems like it's always a bad time for people to be suggesting that, because it's like, dude, I got too much to play. And you're saying I should cross-dress for the 100th episode? That would be I don't know what that would mean. I don't know how people would react to that. Somebody says abandoned tweet. I swear. People want me to talk, dude. I swear I have truly merged myself with Blue Box to an extent, man, where I haven't talked about it in a long time, at least not extensively, and still every week people ask me, any news on Blue Box? Any news? MBG, why do you use Twitter as source links? I only do that if that's where I'm getting the info from. Like if it's a person saying something. I still haven't cosplayed as Abby. Oh man. See, it's a good. This is why I'm not doing anything special for my 100th episode. You guys expect some ridiculous stuff. You're saying Blue Box is how you discovered me? Well, I do have at least one thing to say about Blue Box before the end of the show. But yeah, Will, I mean, I agree with you, man. I do think PlayStation is killing it. And I'm not saying that as a fanboy. I'm just saying that as like somebody who bought a new console and expects a steady flow of good content. They've been doing a great job. And I'm happy for it. I am. Magnum Visuals, you're saying Digital Foundry destroyed Halo Infinite, and now without Bungie, hope for the franchise is lost. I did not watch Digital Foundry's. I didn't watch their breakdowns for Halo Infinite. I don't know, man. The future of Halo, I really don't know what I think this is it. I think what we're seeing now is the future of Halo. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that what 343 is doing now, Phil Spencer said it himself. They're not just gonna, kill 343 if Halo doesn't live up. It's a thing that will exist under Microsoft. And I think at this point, if Halo Infinite wasn't the big comeback for you as a Halo fan, then that ship has probably sailed. That's just my 2 cents. Darkborn, you're saying, I believe this is the week something will be said too. I've been saying since like October that it'll be after GT7. I think mid-March will be fun. Yeah, I'm going to dive into that, Darkborn. I agree with you. I'm going to dive into that in just a minute. KD, you're saying, if you shave and wear a wig, then could be Aloy. I don't know. I mean, I do have quite a few freckles on my face, believe it or not. You can't see it on the camera, but I don't even know why I'm entertaining this notion, because that's just not my thing, bro. I'm gonna be real. It's just not my thing. Josh, you're saying, when are you gonna make my famous broccoli casserole and play GT7 F Xbox? Josh, you're going off today, man. I almost said bro again. You're going off today, bro. You're going off today. You're saying some crazy stuff. Broccoli, dude, I hate casseroles. I'm not a fan of casseroles. Broccoli's okay. Hit that like button for me, guys. We are going to move on to the topic, which talks about the PlayStation Showcase, the PlayStation event, the state of play, whatever you want to call it. But no doubt in my mind, Sony has some things coming. All right, I want to find something here. Give me just a second. Almost have it. Okay, it's a little bit further back than I thought. All right. Okay, so the big thing here is this. There's a couple things. The reason why I'm feeling confident that Sony is going to do something very soon, well, there's a bunch of reasons. Number one, putting all the insiders aside and all the rumors aside, I agree with what Darkborn's saying here. Thank you for that, Burko. After GT7, we only know about a few games. So let's break down what we know about, all right? We know that at the end of this month, Ghostwire Tokyo is coming out. And no offense to Ghostwire Tokyo, I think it looks interesting. There's no hype for this game. There's absolutely zero hype for this game. And while it could end up being a very good game, we don't know. We'll have to see how it reviews. No one's talking about it. And there's just not a whole lot behind it. And I don't think that's going to change. But that is the next game we have. And it's coming very, very soon. It's coming in just a couple of weeks. Other than that, all right, I really want to make this part clear, because if there's anything you need to know about the, Sony and their position currently, that and Forspoken are the only games from Sony or their partners that we have release dates for. Okay? Like, I need you to really think about that, because yes, God of War Ragnarok, Stray, right? Games like that. And I'm sure there's maybe something else I'm forgetting. But we don't have dates for these games. We have no idea what's coming. And I've heard, apparently, the rumor is that Forspoken is delayed. And I believe it, because we are getting very close to its supposed release date of May, and we haven't seen anything. So I think Forspoken is going to get delayed. And when you talk about Sony's overall position right now, it makes it pretty clear that they're going to have to start talking sooner rather than later. Sony cannot, I mean, they could if they wanted to, but I think it would be strange because it's just not like Sony. This is where Sony and Microsoft are very different. I want to make that clear. The idea that Sony would, after the release of Ghostwire Tokyo, just pretty much not say anything and not give any more dates or not show any more games until sometime in June or July, Sony doesn't normally cut it that close. They normally don't. Sony seems to have this type of cadence where they will reveal a slate of games, and these games will all be games that are set to release within a certain time frame, the next maybe 12 to 18 months. That's usually how far out they go, about 18 months. And once they reach that point where, okay, we in between that time, we kind of let these games do their thing, we hype up these games, we market these games, so on and so forth, then they come back out and they do it again. And it's like a rinse and repeat. And it's not necessarily on some type of schedule either, from what I can tell. Although Sony traditionally, it's not on a strict schedule, but June and September are usually pretty safe bets for Sony to start talking again. And that's the one thing that makes me kind of raise my eyebrow about all of the insiders right now and all of the rumors and all of the rumblings, is they're saying that, no, Sony doesn't just have a state of play. Sony has an event, they have a showcase. They have a lot to share in March. And I'm like, well, has Sony ever once before done a showcase of any kind in March? The only thing I can think of is, and this was a long time ago, wow, it was a really long time ago, almost a decade ago at this point, was the PS4 initial reveal. And they didn't even show off the console in February. Outside of that, I just don't recall Sony ever doing anything in March. And, I'm not totally convinced that that's going to change. But when you look at the other side, so you look at Sony's position, we have insiders, and so many of them are saying just things that, they're not being clear, and we don't know how trustworthy they are. Some of them have proven that they do have some good sources, like Account NGT, Special Nick. We have a newcomer, and I'm going to be keeping tabs on, what these guys say, because they're the only people we have to go off of when it comes to this type of stuff. We also have video game leaks. They're new. The video game leaks, they came out this past week, and they were an extremely popular PlayStation franchise is going to be announced by PlayStation at the end of this year. They didn't say anything about March. They said at the end of this year, so it could be at the Game Awards. I don't know how they would know this so soon, but they're saying it's an extremely popular PlayStation franchise. And they won't say which franchise it is. One thing they did say, though, that caught my interest is apparently whatever this game is, it's 70% done development. So that means it's almost finished. So if they reveal this game at the end of this year, then sorry if you guys hear that. I have people over right now. So again, I have an event that's taking place after this podcast, so some people are arriving a little bit early. So if you hear any background noise, that's what you're hearing. Just want to make that clear. But if Sony is planning to reveal this game at the end of this year, it's a long time, and it's 70% done now, that means it's going to be releasing probably just a few months later. Now, again, they said it's going to be an extremely popular franchise. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about this. What I say it's Metal Gear Solid. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it's Metal Gear Solid. I want it to be Metal Gear Solid. I don't know that it is. I don't know what it is. But saying a new Uncharted game, yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know, but that would definitely count as extremely popular. Silent Hill, I don't know. I don't know if Silent Hill could be seen as extremely popular. Bloodborne 2, I think that would count, yeah. Well, no. Bloodborne 2 couldn't count because that's not a franchise. Bloodborne's not a franchise. And look, I know that it's like, people are like, bro, how do we know we can trust these sources? We don't know. We don't know. It's just all we have to go off of right now. But that, that specific rumor, I don't know if we should focus so much on that, because even if it is true, that's not happening till the end of this year. Inspector Guru, you're saying MBG is secretly a tracksuit bro, part of Trust a Bro moving company from Hawkeye Disney Plus series. Yeah, definitely. You got it, man. The Last of Us remake, it's possible. Nakamichi, thank you so much. You're saying, I just remembered something. In one of your last videos, you brought up and talked about a rumor that Sony shipped out something secret. The only thing I could think of is a smaller version of the PS5 or Sony's version of the Switch. Yes, thank you, Nakamichi, for bringing that up, actually, because I did want to talk about that. Because something that a lot of people were talking about. So let me give you some context for those who don't know. Maybe not everybody listening to this watched that video. Essentially, Sony shipped out a bunch of hardware, specifically prototype hardware. It's not PSVR 2, okay? I need people to understand that, because PSVR 2 is not in the prototype phase. It hasn't been for quite some time. PSVR 2 is a finalized product. We've seen it. That's not what they're shipping out. Whatever they're shipping out is legitimately something we don't know about. And, people are thinking, is it a PS5 Pro? And I will admit, I've been entertaining the notion of a PS5 Pro way too much. I want to nip something in the bud here. It's not a PS5 Pro. It's not. It's not a PS5 Pro. I say this because it makes zero sense at this time for it to be a PS5 Pro. Sony absolutely would not be worried about shipping out PS5 unless they completely change. The only way a PS5 Pro would make sense, and this is some weird, this would be bizarre. And I'm going to tell you right now, I highly, 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 highly doubt this is the case. But the only way this could be a PS5 Pro is if Sony found a way to essentially replicate the performance of the PS5 currently, but with completely different. When I say completely different components, I mean like from a source that it's much easier to, get these components. But even then, like, you wouldn't need to call it a Pro. It's not a Pro. Like, let's just be straight up. It's not a Pro. All right, we're gonna scratch that. You're saying it could be new dev kits with updates to ray tracing. It could be new dev kits, yes. Something else that people were saying is that there's a very good chance it could be the first sign of a PlayStation 5 Slim. Now that makes the most sense to me. But, I don't know how that works. Like, when you talk about prototype hardware, would you need to ship that out to developers like a Slim? I'm not familiar with how it works. I don't know if you would, like, as far as the developers are concerned, because the dev kits stay the same, right? If I'm not mistaken, if Sony does make a PS5 Slim, developers won't know about it because it's not like Sony, because of a PS5 Slim, it's not like they have to make new updated dev kits. Correct? Pretty sure I'm right about that. It's probably server blades for their new service. Ah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, actually. I didn't think of that. That would make a lot of sense. But somebody says I was correct about that. You're talking about like a PlayStation's version of a Switch. That's interesting. Well, maybe, yeah, I don't know. The idea that Sony's doing something handheld, I think if they were going to do anything handheld, it wouldn't be a dedicated piece of hardware. Like, it would be, in my opinion, it would be a controller screen hybrid where you stream games. I'm telling you now, there's no way Sony would spread themselves so thin as to have a PS5 to develop for, a PSVR 2 to develop for, and a dedicated handheld to develop for. No way. No way. I don't think that. I don't know, dude. It's one of these things where we have no clue. I'll tell you right now, there's no way it's PSVR 2. I know that seems like the most obvious, but it wouldn't be labeled as prototype. How could it be? PSVR 2 is not prototype anymore. PSVR 2 is a final product. Unless maybe unless because it's not released yet, I don't know if they would still have to like mark it as prototype. Maybe it's a possibility. I don't know, but it is very interesting nonetheless. We'll have to pay attention to that. Josh, you're saying I'm just jokes today. I'd probably get an Xbox Series X if they offered some good games. To be honest, not trying to be toxic. All love for both platforms. Xbox. Okay, Josh. Okay, I hear you. You're letting us know that you might buy an Xbox Series X if they have good games. And you're not trying to be toxic. You love all platforms, but Xbox. Yeah. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Perfect Image, you're saying, what about Vita 2? There's no way. No, I don't believe that for a second, man. I don't believe we're getting a Vita 2. I'd be shocked. I think everybody would be shocked. Saying if it's not server blades, it could be streaming sticks for their service. That's also, Sony did try something like that way back when, early in the PS4 generation, in the Vita with a PlayStation TV, PS TV. You might be right. That's an interesting thought. You're saying a PS5 Slim makes no sense. Only difference, PS5 and PS5 Slim is size. Same specs and a die shrink. It's either PSVR 2 or PS5 Pro. Well, here's what I can say. It's a prototype. It's a piece of prototype hardware. So because it's a prototype, it might result in nothing. We may never know what this is. It might get canceled. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Magnum Visuals, you're saying, will ill get Martha is deaded from Sony? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm over it. Like, I'm not playing Martha is Dead. I'm not pro censorship, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't even know what game you're talking about, to be completely real. But just to get back onto the showcase and the state of play. So the reason why we might, well, let me ask you guys what you think about this. We're hearing some rumblings. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but we're hearing some rumblings that Sony is possibly doing something on March 10th. Now, March 10th is a Thursday, and that is traditionally when Sony does something. And we've been hearing that Hogwarts Legacy is ready to be shown. So people are thinking it's going to be a state of play. Now, I don't look, I know to most people, this insider is like considered a joke. Okay. And I'm not advocating for them because I haven't been following them. I'm going to be honest. I haven't been following them. I have no clue what their track record is. I just know that people do not take them seriously as an insider. So I'm not trying to proliferate anything here. But it's just, he said something that I just was really trying to think, like, would Sony do that? Like, would Sony do that? And it's on Twitter, Roberto Serrano, which I think he maybe got a couple things right a while ago, but it's like since then it just seems like he's been making guesses. I don't know. Again, I haven't been following. So I can't say. But I did come across one tweet of his where he said, because somebody asked him, do you have any news on the event? Somebody says he's good. Oh, well, if so, then good. He said that Sony is doing a state of play on March 10th and then a bigger showcase event on March 25th. Now, that's so weird. Like, that sounds not real. You know what I mean? Like, that just sounds fake. But that sounds so fake that it's like, surely you had to have heard that from somewhere, because there's no way, if somebody was trying to logically guess something, they would guess that Sony would do two of those things in the same month. Because that's just, when have we ever seen anything like that? And it just kind of got me thinking, would Sony actually do something like that? And if they were to do something like that, what would be the point? What would be the point? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just tough to talk about Sony and their events because, yeah, I mean, as you're pointing out here in the chat, we need to hear from somebody who has a very good track record. You know, not like somebody who's been established, somebody who's been around for a while, and somebody who, frankly, has something to lose if they're wrong. And we haven't heard anything from anybody like super credible, super high up there. Even Tom Henderson, he's like the closest to somebody who has a lot of credibility. He will not say definitively whether or not Sony is doing an event this month. He just said that it seems likely they will. Like, there's based off of everything that he's been following and what he's been told, he thinks that there's a good chance. And you talk about Project Spartacus. I mean, as of right now, guys, you're saying, who do I class as credible? I mean, I get, if it's like if Jason Schreier said, yeah, Sony's doing an event this month, I mean, I'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I trust that. I mean, I know I don't really like Bloomberg. They seem to have a bone to pick with Sony for some reason. But, he doesn't just come out and say stuff like that usually. Although Bloomberg, if I'm not mistaken, they were wrong about the Switch Pro. I think everybody was wrong about that. But like, if Tom Henderson came out and was like, oh yeah, they're doing an event in February, like Special Nick, he's pretty good though. Like Nick Baker, he's on the Xbox Era podcast. He's pretty good, man. Like he's been spot on with quite a few PlayStation related things. I can't speak about his overall track record because I haven't followed him that closely. But when it comes to PlayStation stuff, he was correct about Ghost of Tsushima Icky Island. Back in September of last year, he said the next thing Sony was doing was in February. And he was correct. We got our next state of play in February. So he's good for that type of stuff. And he said explicitly that, yeah, Sony's going to have an event. And the way he put it is it's going to be the good one. And it's hard for somebody like me not to get really excited at that notion. Like, I want it to be true because people are like, yo, what about Blue Box, bro? And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to bring up Blue Box. All right. Nobody's been talking about Blue Box. Nobody cares about Abandon. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, that's how it should be right now. If they're an indie studio, they got to go work on their game. All I'm saying, they removed it from their Twitter. But all I'm saying is that the last thing we heard is Q1 2022. So I'm just saying, like, can we finally see whatever Abandoned is if there's an event in March? Because Q1 2022 ends at the end of March. And that's all I had to say about Blue Box. But I don't know, dude. I just don't imagine Sony going much longer. How could they? They got to talk about God of War. They got to give us a release date. They got to show more gameplay. Where's Last of Us Factions? Right? Where's Guerrilla Games, their second team? Where's the Sly Cooper game? Where's Infamous? Where's SOCOM? Where's any of this stuff? What do we have for the second half of 2022? When are we going to see more Spider-Man? When are we going to get more info on Wolverine? PSVR 2. Dude, even I'm forgetting about that. Where's PSVR 2? Like, when are we going to see more games for that? When are we going to see more of Call of the Mountain, Horizon. Where's Metal Gear? Where's Metal Gear? Where's Silent Hill? Where is it? Where's the new studio acquisition, that we know is coming? Thank you, Toolman55. Thank you for becoming a channel member, buddy. Welcome aboard. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. I mean, I'm not going to continue to talk about it for much longer because at this point, it does feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But if you're saying MBG, the Spartacus tiers, it's not a very big announcement. I feel like I kind of agree, man. The big thing that people are saying, at least what I saw in my comment section when I talked about this, is people are feeling like they're going to be pretty disappointed. They're going to be pretty disappointed if this Joker right here. They're going to be pretty damn disappointed if the only thing we get this month is like a state of play, excuse me, and it's really not that good. I worry about that as well. I do, because it feels like it's been too long. I'm ready. I'm ready for Sony once again to show their cards, show us what you got. Because I don't know, that's the thing. Once you get used to eating good, it's hard to, you expect to always be eating good, right? So it's like, well, we got a lot to play now. Be busy for quite some time to come, but what about the rest of the year? We know we got God of War. Oh, it's going to be funny. It's going to be great when God of War Ragnarok comes out and we see outlets giving it like a 6. We see some review outlets. Yeah, God of War Ragnarok, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Great. Kratos is, he's too mean. Kratos is too mean. 6 out of 10. Looking forward to that. Oh, man. All right, let me see what other topics I have here. I am like pretty sleep deprived right now, honestly. It's been a rough couple nights, man. It's been a rough couple nights. I am tired. I'm sure that's probably coming through on this podcast a little bit. I apologize. To be completely honest, I was considering maybe not doing podcast today, but I was like, you know what? It's a lot of people waking up Sunday morning. Like, it's Sunday, Press X podcast day. Let's go. And I'm like, I can't disappoint them. God of War Ragnarok is incredible, but has too many menus. 5 out of 10. That's what I'm saying, man. You're going to see it. You're saying Navtra also has a good track record? Have they said anything about PlayStation or a PlayStation show? I don't know. I try not to I'll end this topic here. You can expect Survivor to get... I don't think Survivor is going to get a review copy of God of War Ragnarok, man. All right, so the final thing I want to say in regards to this topic before we move on to something else is if Sony is I can't tell you definitively. I don't have any sources, man. Maybe that's my fault. I don't know. I don't keep my DMs open on Twitter. Maybe I should. Maybe I'd get more sources. Maybe I'll try to reach out to somebody myself. But as of right now, I don't have any sources. So I don't have any inclination as to whether or not anything we're hearing about Sony talking and doing a state of play or an event or anything this month, I don't know if it's true or not. What I will say is that there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of smoke. You know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if Sony does something this month. But if we are going to get like a state of play, if we are going to get an event, I suspect that the conversation regarding that within like the inner gaming circle, that conversation will ramp up and it will increase. So, Waved Max, it's okay that you're late, man. It's very unfortunate for you, Waved Max, because this is actually going to be a shorter podcast. It's going to be a 2.5 hour podcast. So unfortunately, got about 15 more minutes. But hey, better late than never, right? All right, let me see what other topics. I know I have a few other topics lined up. We talked about that. Okay, so here's something interesting that I want to talk about for at least a few minutes because I thought this kind of surprised me. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. So we got... Did you... Oh, yeah. How'd you know, Crooked Vulture? How'd you know I was going to talk about Elden Ring? Did I ever find my illusionary walls? No. I didn't find a single illusionary wall. And I got upset because I'm like, these mother effers lied to me. So I was like, you know what? Before I jump to any conclusions, I'm going to look it up. Are there actually illusionary walls? And I found out there actually are. So I'm not mad at you guys. I'm just mad at myself for failing to actually find any of them. Because believe me, I've been hitting a lot of those walls, looking like a moron. But I wanted to talk about Elden Ring sales numbers. Holy shit. Like, so not only is Elden Ring, according to UK sales data, it's the best-selling game, non-Call of Duty and non-FIFA game since Red Dead Redemption 2, but it sold 2.5 times more than Horizon Forbidden West? What? So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if this means Horizon is actually maybe not selling as well as Sony had hoped. Or maybe, is it that, I don't know, dude, is it, watch MBG's going to cap for it selling hard copies well? No. Honestly, across digital and physical in the UK, it sold pretty well on all platforms. I mean, PlayStation still was the best selling platform, but not by like 80%. I think it was like 40% or something. I mean, I know Elden Ring Elden Ring is not exclusive. I know that. But it's just one of these situations where it's like either Elden Ring sold that well, like that good, that it just completely trounced Horizon, and so Horizon sold really well in its own right, or I don't know, dude. Horizon must be cursed. Because they launched Horizon Zero Dawn right next to Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then they do it again with Elden Ring. But I have to assume it's selling well. I mean, look, a lot of people said that Horizon Zero Dawn, it was going to get destroyed by what's it called? Zelda Breath of the Wild, but in the end it ended up selling 20 million copies, and it's like, that's really good. Maybe it took a little bit longer, but I don't know. I don't have like much to say about it. I just kind of wanted to highlight that I think you know, all I can really say is good for From Software, man. Like, they are experiencing a type of success that is really only reserved for like a few select studios, and they've been elevated to another level, bro. I mean, I said it again, but it's worth it this time. Absolutely. So, Siler18, you're saying poor Dying Light and Sifu got completely buried. Horizon probably should have launched next month. I actually agree with that, dude. I agree with that. I think it would have been totally okay if Horizon launched in March, but you do have to wonder maybe why Sony, maybe, I'm not trying to go back to it. Maybe this is more evidence that Sony does have an event planned in March, because Sony would never release a big game of theirs, this same month. At least I don't think so. Dude, look at this guy. This dude made an account. He named his account Cope Harder MBG and donated $1. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you for that. That has made my day. Oh man, I gotta get some WD-40 for this arm as well. But Cope Harder MBG. That's awesome. But thank you for that, man. The only other topic I have here that we haven't discussed, because it kind of was a slower week, is the fact that Sifu has officially sold 1 million copies, which is very, very, very good. That is very good for an indie studio. So I just wanted to be sure to shout that out because I'm really happy to see their success. I don't know. I think Sony, if you haven't already, try to see if you can bring Slow Clap into PlayStation Studios and get them working on a Sifu sequel, which would be awesome. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. You know, I want to say it actually works out really, really well that this was the Sunday where I had to do a shorter podcast because I have prior obligations I have to attend to. But honestly, there's really not much else to discuss. I think I pretty much covered it all. So yeah, that's episode 99. Well, it'll be interesting next week or next Sunday, episode 100, to see. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a lot to talk about. Maybe not. But before I go, I do want to make sure, because Zanarkand Blitzer reminded me, I'm going to give a shout out to all of my members. If you want to help support the channel directly, become a channel member. It helps out. Big shout out to the Play Has No Limits Plus tier. So shout out to Junior Jackson, Josh Z, Agile Ice 24, Skin Tight Salmon, PlayStation Pete, RU46 N2 Ray, Icyler 18, Whiskey Gaming, Pragmaticat, Chris B, Hidden Leaf 2 Taka, Morgan Anstein, Nakamichi. Then we have Play Has No Limits. Big shout out to Ivanoa Kachofel, Kenneth A. Kramer, Rune Gasoden, Black Waifus, Ryan Butcher, John Renzi, Zanarkand Blitzer, Space Gambler Jr., AJ Saeed, JD TV, Sir Speaks a Lot, A Shorty Faye, Big Norman 0518, Shaky Shako, Tyson Webb 509, Black Manta 1989, Sayin JT, Brandon Chad Perez, Adrian Lupton, Introvert Gaming Dude, and Kevin Kahan. Thank you guys so much for the direct support you show me every week. Unfortunately, Zay, very rare. You're coming at the very end of the podcast, but you're saying, good morning, MBG. Hope your morning went well so far. It has. Thank you for asking. Hope yours is going well too. Elden Ring is so much fun. I had to go with using the dual blades. I'll have to give them a try. As of right now, I'm using the Claymore, and I'm trying to build my strength up to be able to try out I think it's the Golden Halberd. I think that's the weapon it is. But there's a bunch of strength weapons I want to try out. So I'm loving Elden Ring, man. I'm loving Horizon, and I'm loving Elden Ring. It's actually not as hard to balance these two games as I thought. So, but yeah, that's it, man. That's episode 99 in the books. I gotta head out now. Deck superiority. Yeah. But do me one last favor, guys, before you head out. Please hit the like button to show the podcast a little bit of extra support. Really helps it out. See if we can get to 600 likes. But yeah, I'll be back here, hopefully same time, same place next weekend, next Sunday for episode 100. And I hope, as I said, we will have a lot to discuss. But that does it, guys. Until next time, take care.